one of the three buildings is empty, and we're going to, it's in an outstanding part of town near where Obama had his where he had his flat right before he went and became president. And so one of the buildings is empty. The other two are cash flowing right now and have about a net income of about $168,000. The reason why I like this deal so much is because it has an upside to it of about $434,000 of net income after we do the rehab. And the rehab plus the acquisition is expected to be right about $4 million with an after repair value of about $5.6 million. I am looking for a partner a financing partner who would be willing to finance a deal. And I would love it if we had a single person finance a deal. Could be family office. It could be individual investor. Even love people who are already investing in the Midwest, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. And I would absolutely offer a competitive rate of return to that investor. So something we have under contract right now. We started our due diligence today with the inspections. I did wire EMD money to the seller, and that's what I have. So if anyone's interested, happy to pay an above market rate because we have a lot of room on this property since it's being way under rented right now.
Do you have a dollar amount in mind?
Yeah, $3.5 million is the acquisition, and that includes what our attorney believes are going to be the closing estimate. It's 3,485 to be exact, and open to all offers at this time for financing. We can put skin in the game. We can also collateralize with a free and clear property that we already have in Chicago, a 14 unit there. So it's such a great deal that we can even pay from day one all collected rents to our investor because the cash flow on this is going to be just so good, so strong that we can be very creative. Absolutely.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
So, thanks for letting me share, and I'm going to just put my information. If anyone knows of an investor looking to get an above average rate of return on their money, they want to put some money to work, they want an established team, they want folks who have a track record, a documented track record, absolutely love to talk to you about it. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. We'll keep you I'll keep you posted. Is Bill on the call? Maybe Paul, you can help me out.
Okay.
Okay, I'm back. I'm actually going live on YouTube, by the way, so that if anyone wants to take a look at it, you can go on YouTube. And I am going to share my screen again so that we can go back to the presentation here. So just give me a quick second because I'm new to navigating through YouTube Live and Facebook. So just give me 1 second here. I'm hoping this is it. No, that's not it. Ha. Now I don't even know how to. I'm trying to get all sophisticated here. Let's see here. Can you guys see my screen?
I can see you. Yep, on YouTube.
Okay, so I'm trying to get out of that so that I can go back to my screen, and I don't know how to do that. Let's see. No. Geez, I need help.
Now we can see your slides.
Oh, you can? Oh, perfect.
Yep, now we can.
Oh.
Yeah, your slides right there. Yeah.
Oh, good. Awesome. Okay, so you guys.
Yeah, that's what you wanted, right? Your slides.
Yes, this is what I wanted. Okay, great.
They're showing.
Yep. Oh, nice. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, I just needed someone to tell me you could see it on the other side. Great. So today what I've prepared is just pretty much like how to get pre-approved for the purchase of multifamily. And right here, these are just, again, what I'm giving you guys is a very broad, but it's somewhat detailed that you can take, but there's always more stuff that you want to look at. And this is just quickly, in order for you guys to find out if you qualify for the purchase of a multifamily property, and actually it's loan to value, this will give you guys a positive or a negative indication as to the feasibility of the loan that you're looking to acquire. So pretty much they're going to want to look at a trailing 12-month, and a trailing 12-month pretty much is the performance of the property in the last 12 months. You want a month-to-month operating statement of profit and loss as well. You want to look at a current rent roll. They're going to look at this. This is what the lender would ask you for, just to see if, hey, you even have a chance at acquiring one of these loans. They're going to look at the borrower's net worth, and it must be greater than the loan amount. And the borrower's liquidity is also greater than 10% of the loan amount. So this is just kind of rule of thumb. Your net liquidity, like your liquidity, should be greater than 10% of that loan amount. Okay. And what do they do and how do they verify this? Is they're going to ask you for a personal financial statement. Now, I'm going to give you guys a list of items that you can actually get a formal quote, or a term sheet is what it's called, from a lender, that they're going to basically stand behind and say, yes, you know what, you qualify for X amount, and they'll give you a full underwritten commitment letter, right, stating that, yes, you do qualify. Now, what they require, and you might want to write this down, from the property. So they're going to require stuff from the property. They're going to require stuff from you as an individual as well. From the property, they're going to ask for the last 3 years operating statements. You're going to want to look at the performance of that property. And they really do look at everything. So you're going to have to go back 3 years. You're going to have to ask that seller, hey, I need, 3 years operating statements. Trailing 12 months, month by month profit and loss. You're going to need a current rent roll. A summary of CapEx to date. Does anyone know what CapEx means or is?
Yeah, those are your capital expenditures. So your
Correct.
Your improvements is
Correct.
in layman's terms. Yeah.
Correct. So in the multifamily world, capital expenditure is, for example, if you had to replace the roof, that's a large capital expenditure that you had to spend on a particular month or a couple months. You have, let's say you have to replace the boiler. Let's say these are big capital expenditures that are not part of that trailing 12-month or month-to-month. It's just a different capital, like a summary of how much you've actually spent in repairs or in improvements on the property. They're going to want to see a stabilized budget on that property. Okay. Now, they're going to want to see property details like photos, the address, the description, the unit mix. Do you have a 2-bedroom, 1 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, studios? All of that makes a huge difference. The age of the property, the construction type as well of the property. Okay, so this is information that you would provide a lender on the property. Now, here's the information that you would provide as the borrower. So and usually when someone is going out to buy a multifamily and they're buying 10, 15 units plus, there usually is an LLC or a corporation filed for that purchase. Very seldom do you see an actual individual buyer purchasing it under their name. At least that is the experience that I have. So you're going to want to provide the name of the entity. You're going to want to provide the organizational chart. Organizational chart usually is the list of directors of that organization or that LLC corporation. They're going to
Hey,
want to,
Ann,
yes.
I just wanted to stop you for a second and go back to your other slide, just to, kind of, it might be kind of good for you to kind of expound on this part, because at one point you were a investor, and there might be some people on here who maybe don't know how to invest, or maybe how to buy their first multifamily. So, when you were first getting going and had to, basically show P&Ls and your net worth and things like that, did you find by having your seller offer seller financing, some of that was relaxed, or how did that go for you? So you can just kind of share with folks
Actually,
your experience.
that's a really good question, and like an analogy. So obviously, when purchasing it directly from the seller, it was a much more relaxed process, right? The seller wasn't asking me for really any of these. I didn't have to provide operating statements. Well, this has to do with the property. For myself, like, they didn't ask me to provide. Let's go back to this. They didn't ask me to provide any of the stuff that are listed here under as a borrower. It really was based on I sold myself, right? I knew the business. I'm a real estate agent. I have flipped properties. I've managed, single family. I sold myself. They felt very comfortable that I was going to be able to do this. Plus, I was giving them also a really hefty down payment. I mean, $350,000, that's still a lot of money. I didn't want to lose that. And so there was enough, security there for them to feel comfortable to lend, to basically be my lender for 2 years. So yes, it was much easier. And if you guys can go out there and find a seller that would be willing to finance, I'm going to tell you, hands down, it is the easiest way to do this. Easiest way, smoothest way to do this while you get your feet wet, while you're, figuring things out. So yes, it actually worked out to my advantage. And I think, again, that all comes from my experience, right? I've been representing clients on residential property, commercial property. I mean, I've been involved, and I think just being involved, if there's any other real estate agents on this call, we do become familiar with what lenders expect or what a seller expects. And I think that if we give them that clarity, and we assure them that we know what we're doing, they're much more willing to work with you. So that's a good point. Now, when you're going out to a lender, right, a lender is going to require all of these other documentations to make sure that who they're going to give the loan to is going to be able to fulfill that and not, you're right, and not pay them back. So yeah, it's definitely harder. So what I'm giving you guys right now, it's really, this is really what a lender will require when you're going to go out to purchase a property. So going back to the borrower section, you'll provide a personal financial statement. So each person that's actually applying and going on that loan will provide a financial statement. They want to see a resume. They want to know, what's your background? What have you done? How up to date are you on whether it's multifamily or commercial property? I mean, how involved are you? What do you know? What's your experience? If you are, let's say that you have had experience in purchasing a multifamily, but you've not managed it yourself, then they want to know who's that property management company that's been managing it for you, right? And they're going to want to see information on that. An individual owning more than 20% of the GP will be underwritten as a guarantor as well. And limited partners are not underwritten. So, oops, let me go back here. And for guarantors with limited experience, a strong, sorry about that. Wait. I'm sorry. You guys see that? I pressed something there. So basically, in order for the deal to work, the lender needs to make sure that this is a strong property. So everything is taken into consideration. They're taking into consideration the strength of the property, the performance of the property, the strength of the borrower, its experience. All of it is taken into consideration. Any questions so far? We're all good? Perfect. All right. So in addition to the items listed in this formal quote following the documents that are required prior to closing, so an underwriter, or there's also the reviewing of third-party reports, other questions may present themselves and additional documentations or underwriting items may be requested. And so the following represents the balance of items needed to close, to basically close a transaction. So here's what they want. They want a W-9 for the borrower. They want a final organizational chart. They want articles of incorporation. They want an executed operating agreement, and they want verification of the the EIN number, which is your tax number for the corporation. So going back to the property, they want current rent rolls, all months up to and including closing. So if you're going to close on March, they're going to want the most current rent roll that you possibly have in order to be able to approve that loan. They want operating statements as well. The ALTA survey is a detailed land parcel map report. It will give you information on improvements of the property, the utilities of the property. It'll also give you a list of boundaries of the property. So it's a pretty detailed report that they will consider and look at. There's also, you need to provide any commercial leases that the property has. And that could, that could be just, oh my gosh, outside company leases that you are using to maintain your property, laundry leases, copies of just any kind of service contracts, trash company, pest control, landscaping, pool services. I mean, anything you can think of that would require an expense to your bottom line, they want to make sure that they're looking at.
Annabelle, a quick question on the ALTA survey. Is that something that we get from the town or the county, or is that something that we hire someone to come in and do the survey?
Yeah, that's usually hired. That's a third party. That's usually hired, and that's done once, like your open escrow. It's almost kind of like the title. I don't know if you're familiar with like a preliminary title report.
Yeah.
Okay, exactly. So it's very similar to that, and it's just going to give you a detailed information regarding the property, like, just everything, utilities and property boundaries and just improvements on the property, just a lot more detailed information.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. Good question. Anything else that maybe I went by too fast that anyone needs for me to go over? Okay. So here we go back to more stuff for the property and what they want. Again, Title, you'll have to get title on the property. Certificate of occupancy, rental licenses, proof of building code compliance. So you have to, when you're going to be purchasing a property, you're going to be looking at all of this. I mean, yes, the seller will provide you with an operating agreement, or a marketing report of all the information, but you cannot just base your purchase solely on what information they give you. You also have to go out of your way to provide, to look at as much information as you possibly can regarding this property. So proof of building codes, you probably have to go to the city. You want to find out, are there any violations? Is there anything that you should be aware of? Because once you purchase this property, all of that transfers over with the property. So you're picking up wherever they left off. Copy of the deeds, zoning letters. You want to find out what zoning that property is in. You want to make sure that it is the zoning that you're saying, that they're saying that you're going to be purchasing. Designation of a counsel. In many states, escrow is not used as they do here in California, and they use attorneys or title firms that have attorneys, and an insurance agent. Very important. You want to make sure that you're finding, a good insurance agent that is familiar with that property and has good rates. I mean, I can tell you, we've been through so many insurance agents. It's just crazy. And I don't know why, and I don't know if anybody here knows why. We've had one insurance quote us on the same property, and I'll just to throw out a number, 20,000, and then we have another insurance agent quoting us, maybe 30,000, and then you have another one quoting you 15,000. It's like, why is there such a difference? And something that we've learned is you have to be, you've got to do your due diligence even on that. Very important. And now I'll tell you, we have a Freddie Mac loan, and just for those of you here, these Freddie Mac loans are no joke. The lenders are constantly requiring updating of, they want rent rolls. They want, for example, we just had this snowstorm in Dallas. They sent out an email stating, hey, did your property experience any damages? They want a list of that. And if it was, what damages, and you need to respond. If you don't respond, they penalize you. And if you don't submit your rent roll, your updated rent rolls or operating expenses, they will fine you. I mean, you'll get a nice $500 fine if you don't submit all of that. So working with a lender is a lot harder than working directly with a seller, but we are all eventually, if we plan to grow in this business and we want more multifamily, this is the way to do it. We're gonna have to learn to do things the right way, and sometimes, yeah, it is a little harder, but it's the proper way. So they're gonna ask for the person, the guarantor, the person that is actually going to qualify for the loan. They're gonna want to see an SREO, and an SREO is a schedule of real estate owned. So they want to make sure that you do own property, that you're involved, that this stuff. So the stronger you have your personal backing with the performance, a strong performance on the property, you guys have a really good chance at getting a loan from, we're talking a traditional bank. They're going to want to look at your bank information, credit information, and verification of deposits, or so basically your bank statements. So going back here, I know that I've kind of repeated myself a lot, but these are important stuff. I'm not sure if I did this already. Let me go back here. So again, current rent rolls, operating statements, ALTA surveys, commercial leases, laundry leases, service contracts. Let's go here. Let me see. We did that. Okay. If you have a property management company that will be managing the property while you are in the purchase of this property, the lender's going to want to see the list of current properties that are being managed by this management company. They want to see an executed management agreement. They want to see a marketing plan. You know, what are the goals, right? What is this management company going to do to make sure that your vacancy rate is very low or none? They want to see all the marketing materials that they're going to be using to market this property that you purchase. They're going to want to see sample leases. I mean, this is all real stuff. They want to see this property management, how knowledgeable they are in managing properties. Expenses shared with other properties and payroll analysis. So this company, whoever it is that you decide you want to you're going to manage, that they're going to manage your company, when you're applying for the loan, you have to make sure that it is a legit, that they are up and running, and that they have the experience to run the property. And then the last part here are the standard third-party reports: termite inspections, appraisals, phase 1 environmental reports, and PCNA lenders. And the PCNA is a projected capital needs assessment. So this is pretty much it's like a report where it will list the repairs or the maintenance over time that are projected to be done on the property. And all of this is taken into consideration when given either an approved loan for multifamily. So I want to stop for a little bit because I know I've thrown out a lot of information, and this is a great opportunity for questions, or if you guys want me to go back and explain something, I'm pretty much opening it up for questions right now.
Annabelle, for the information that they're looking for about the property management, is that about the current one, or like who has been managing the property, or the one that you're going to use to manage it after the sale?
Right. This is the company that you're going to use to manage the sale. Because remember, this is about getting pre-approved for a loan. And if you're not going to self-manage it and you're hiring a property management company to run it for you, the bank wants to make sure that that property management company is solid, that they have everything they need and they're capable of managing the property. In many cases, again, I'm referencing and going back to my personal experience. I lucked out. I didn't have a property management company, but I had property management experience. And I was able to provide a resume of the properties that I had somewhat been involved in, not on a day-to-day management, but I was able to provide a list of all the properties I had purchased, everything that I had done. I gave them enough evidence that I knew what I was talking about. And you know what? 5-6 years ago, they accepted that. Today, I don't know if they would accept that. But today, I'm able to put down on my resume that I have managed 34 units. I can now use my property and say that I have self-managed 34 units. Because what we did, we created our own management company. We hired an on-site manager and we hired an on-site handyman. And those two pretty much manage our day-to-day activities on the property. If something big's happened, then we reach out to outside vendors like a plumber, electrician, things like that, like large stuff
Anna, you froze up.
We lost her.
Yeah, she froze. I thought it was maybe me, but then I just noticed all my stuff's working.
Yep. Hmm. This has happened a couple times with my darn Zoom this week, so I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah, my Zoom has been a little, at the beginning of the week on Monday was really unreliable, actually.
Yeah,
It was kind of on and off.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I had that experience yesterday as well. Like multiple people in meetings, the screen would go black and then they'd get kicked off and have to come back on.
I think with the weather, there's more of that stuff going on.
Just to prepare for this, I kind of turned all my other devices onto airplane mode just so I wouldn't freeze.
Huh. I'm lucky. I have 2 different internet accesses in my house. I mean, I pay for the second one, so I can just switch. I've done it twice in the last year.
How did you get that, Bill? Because I tried to do that, like a dedicated.
I live in 2 different. I live in an area where we have 2 different fibers. We have Spectrum fiber and AT&T fiber, which is very rare. Usually they won't do it in the same place. They want to be the only one. And the second one was $49. And that way I really run the family internet on one and I run the other one just for my business, but at AT&T. And when AT&T goes down, I just unplug, put the family one in, and it works.
Oh, I love that. I wish I could do. Yeah, I tried to do that, but I'm in Verizon territory. And,
Most people are in one or the other. It's very unusual. I just
yeah.
got lucky. Well, and I was watching for it. One day I saw the truck drive down the street and I chased the guy in my car 3 blocks. I said, "Hold on, are you putting up fiber?" He goes, "Yeah." I go, "Where's it go?" He goes, "We have to go online." He told me how to find out. And I've been going online like every month to check. And the day they got it, I got it. It was $49 for 1 gigabyte. Just crazy cheap.
That's the cheapest I think I've ever heard, honestly.
Yeah.
So $50? Wow.
Because they want to sell you the TV and the phone and the this and the that and the alarm. And, number one, we have the other service. There's Annabelle calling on the other line. Hold on. Hey, Annabelle, we're having fun on your call. Well, I don't know what to tell you. We're on the call. Yeah, we're all here waiting for you. Everybody say hi to Annabelle.
Hey,
Hi,
Annabelle.
Hi, hello.
I thought I was the only one that got cut off.
She's having
Nope.
technical issues. I want to tell you, Annabelle, we're here.
Hi, Bill.
Hold on.
Bill, she should be able to, even though she's the host, she should be able to join
Yeah.
by just, the app,
Yeah.
entering
yeah.
the meeting ID.
From her phone or something. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Unless she has some other connectivity issue.
Yeah.
What happened, if you can hear me, on Sunday, I run my church organization and I was the host and I got cut off. But the other people that were still online, they were able, I couldn't get back in for a long time.
Yeah. It's technology. It's just there she
Okay,
is.
I'm back.
There you are.
Oh,
Welcome back.
It's a miracle. She rose.
sorry.
Annabelle lives.
Oh my God. That was the craziest thing. I don't know why it went. I mean, my charger's on. You guys all saw me say, "Hold on a second, let me connect my laptop." And is it charging or what's going on? Well, I don't know. All right, but I'm back. So let's see, where did we leave off? Because now I don't remember where I left off.
I don't know exactly either, but you were pretty far into, you were talking about how your personal experience, you had put together a resume of
Yes.
properties you were somewhat involved with. And then from there you froze, and that was like, yeah.
Yes. Yes. So pretty much, I was able, yeah, you're right. So it's not like I had real life management experience, at least in my eyes, I didn't, but I had been involved in dealing with residential properties. And I put together such a good resume that the bank was okay with and felt comfortable accepting and allowing us to be okay to self-manage our properties. So when purchasing multifamily, a lender is either A, going to be okay with you self-managing it if you've got the experience to do so, or they'll require that third-party management company. That's why I gave you guys a list of, okay, you know, borrower information, what do you have to provide to the bank about yourself, and then the property information, and the third-party management company, because these are the three components that a lender will look at. Any other questions? Let's see here. All right. Did you guys understand? Did you guys learn? Did you guys find this beneficial today?
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
This was good info. It was a lot of info too. And, you know, especially you talking about how you got started and just, you know, putting your whole thing together, because as you know, sometimes you might buy a building where it might be a tenant that's not very institutional minded, that maybe they've done everything on like graph paper, and maybe they have no leases and
Right.
like, you know, records of any kind other than the bills. And so to your point about the whole, you know, putting together the resume and the whole thing, like and just being honest, like saying, well, you know, these are the ones I was involved with, you know, I'm looking to build my portfolio. You know, being honest about it, you know, is just a better way to go.
Right. Well, I mean, and I think sometimes we all have to really think outside the box, right? Not be so, I mean, yes, there are guidelines that we have to follow, but sometimes those guidelines aren't it. There are other ways around it. And so if one thing I've learned through my journey is there's definitely a lot of investigations that we have to do. And when you are doing those investigations, you really learn a lot. It's another world. And I know I've said this at the beginning. If you guys are looking to get into multifamily is another world. And you really do need to just learn it and understand how it works so that you can use it to your benefit when it comes to purchasing one and going through the loan process. So if you guys have any other questions, I think, you know, I've covered a
I
lot.
have one
I don't
more,
want to
Annabelle.
bombard you guys. Yes, go ahead, Sarah.
So my question is, the stuff that you were sharing about the requirements for getting pre-approval, have you found that they are similar, whether you're going through a conventional bank versus if you're going through a private mortgage lender who's not a bank?
Private, when you refer to a private lender, are you talking about like an
I
individual?
don't mean like a private lender might know, like if you go somewhere that does commercial mortgages and that's their business, but they're not also a bank.
You know, I think that this is a very good, this is a good foundation to follow. They're going to use similar, they're going to ask you for similar documentation. They may just have different guidelines. Some lenders, you know, maybe Fannie Mae, Freddie Mae may look at some additional stuff that the conventional lender will not. And it just really depends. I can't advise you. I don't know. I wouldn't know, but I can tell you that what I've shared is a really good fundamentals, like just a good a good amount of information that you probably will need.
Great, thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Looking at family and starting out, based on and doing your due diligence, and understanding that you can't rely on the seller. There are things that you have to do, but in terms of obtaining a lot of the information you said a borrower should have, but the question comes into play is, how much seed money, or should I say, skin in the game that you have to have before going to a bank, just roughly speaking, if in terms of getting a multifamily. Some things are free by the city and research, but others, information obtaining, you have to pay.
Correct. So I think that, and just kind of going back to when I purchased, you get as much as you possibly can from the owner of the property.
Okay,
They have a lot of information they can provide you with. It's sometimes a pain because you have to go back and forth, like back and ask for more information, back, I mean, you can get as much as you possibly can from the owner. Additional reports and additional items that are required will be once you go into the loan process and the lender has somewhat given you that first phase, like, okay, yes, it seems like, yeah, you could get a loan, but then we're going to need all those other reports. You're looking at, gosh, appraisal can run you maybe $1,500, but, and again, it's going to depend on how many units. But let's just say maybe let's say $1,500 to $3,000. You've got your Alta report. Again, that could run you, I don't know, I don't even remember the cost of that, but I would say $3,000, $3,000 to $5,000. And these are things that you won't have to really spend the money until you've been through that first phase of like the operating agreements and the performance of the property and your personal backing of the property. Like those two things they're going to look at to determine whether you have a good chance at getting the loan. And once they say, yes, you do have a good chance, and then you'll walk into the other steps, which require additional, it's going to have a cost.
thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So there's definitely a lot of steps involved in this. But really the first steps is making sure that property, the performance of that property is there and is strong. That's key. Number one, the lender wants to make sure the property is doing well on its own. And it doesn't require the borrower to put any money into the property to make it sustain it. And then after that is that you are financially also strong and knowledgeable of what you're doing. So if I can leave you with those two things, I think really keep those two things in mind when purchasing multifamily. And again, 1 to 4 units, it's not going to be as detailed as like 5+ units. 1 to 4 is based on your financial income. And yes, they'll take rental income into consideration, but they don't use 100% of it. They'll only use, I want to say, about 75% of that rental income. So if anyone has any last questions, I'm definitely here to answer them.
I have to jump. Thanks, Annabelle. This was great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Paul. We'll talk about your deal afterwards.
All right. Sounds good. We'll see you soon. Thanks.
Thanks. Take care.
Okay, bye.
All
Thank
right,
you.
everyone. All right. Very good. So
Thank you.
you're welcome. I will see you guys next week. We'll go over some more stuff next week. And if you guys have any questions, I believe you have my contact information. Feel free to reach out to me. And if not, I will see you guys next Wednesday, same time, same place. Have a great day, everyone. Take care.
Bye.
You
Take care.
too.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.